Hey, good morning to everybody. I've had to redo this video several times and I hope this is the last time. I wanted to talk about Trump and his canceling of racism training on the federal level, saying that's un-American. With everything that's going on, the protests going on now, what would be we could all agree that the continuing protests and outrage and everything, it needs to be resolved. Now, this is where we differ. People like me, Democrats, liberals, think that there should be training. We need to sit down. We need to have empathy. We need to have interaction to understand what's going wrong here. Why we're not seeing each other as people. Why some police are targeting. Get down to the root of this and just sit down and talk and see that we're all people. I think talking and understanding each other is the only way that this is going to be resolved, or at least a step to resolve it. Now, on the Republican and Trump side, that's not the idea at all. The idea is force, iron fist, more troops, more people, more just stomp it out. Stomp this anti-Americanism out. It's all about trying to get Trump out of office. And that's just totally missing the point. I don't know if it's on purpose, if they're just trying to spin the narrative. I don't know if they still are just so blind that they don't see what's actually going on in the country or what. Okay, so if Trump were to win re-election, what would happen? He would pursue this no more racism training, just power, stomp it out, law and order, felony convictions for anybody caught protesting, which is probably about the most un-American, authoritarian, fascist thing anybody could do. But now, how would people respond to that? All right, let's look at Virginia. Back in January, when all the Trump supporters were enraged about losing their guns, about the governor there, about how they were ready to take on the feds. If they came onto their property trying to take their guns, they were ready to start a world war. See, that's what's going to happen. Just because it's a different group of people, using force to try to quell these protests now, without a doubt, is just going to lead. It's going to throw gas on the fire, without a doubt. We're all humans. And with the outrage and angst and everything that's going on, it's just like the people were in Virginia in January. It's going to make it worse. Things are going to get exponentially worse. That's what will happen if Trump gets another 4 years, without a doubt. It's human nature. It's the way we react. If Trump puts more people on the streets in January or February, if he wins re-election, and tries to use force and law to quell these protests, to shut people up, to put duct tape over their mouths, without a doubt, people aren't just going to say, okay, we give up. That's not going to happen. Just like it wouldn't, the same would be true if it happened to Trump supporters. It's not human nature. It gets to a point where you refuse. It becomes a priority, regardless. So anyway, Trump cancels the training, saying that teaching, trying to talk about racism, trying to talk about white privilege, is inherently anti-American. That I can't even believe we have a president that's saying this right now. We could argue, Trump supporters are going to go along with that all day, because that's the nature of the Trump supporter, is to always complain about how other people, when anybody else wants equal rights, they think they're losing something by giving other people what they have, called white privilege. It's a thing. It's a real thing. But Trump says it doesn't exist. It's anti-American. Doesn't even want to talk about it. So how would that result? How would it be the result of that? Here's one more thing I want to talk about, and I hadn't planned on talking about this. But this is the example of how we all need to sit down. Even people like me, that I have a liberal, open-minded view, but still, let me explain why I say that. Because just today, I had a comment, Trump supporter, troll, and I just happened to look at his profile, and it was a young kid, 20 years old, 22 years old. And I looked at some of his videos, singing Metallica and stuff, and the kid looked like me at 20 years old, you know? And part of me kind of softened up on him, almost gave him a pass, because, you know, he's a young, stupid kid. He was me. Now, what if it was a black kid, 20 years old, singing the rap songs? What would be my first initial reaction? I mean, I hate to say this. I hate to say it, but my initial first reaction in my mind, subconsciously, is I wouldn't have been able to make that connection because I didn't listen to rap music when I was younger, because I didn't look like him when I was younger. Even though no matter how hard I tried, there's that initial subconscious part of me that it's harder to connect with empathy. You know, and all it took for me is to take an extra minute and to really look at a 20-year-old black kid. Look past the skin color, look past the music, the small, insignificant things. How the way I interacted with my friends, the way I interacted with girls, the way I loved movies and video games, the way I talked to my parents, the way I was rebellious. All those real things I share in common with that black kid and that white kid. But I think we all have that initial part of us that it's human nature. And I imagine it's the same way with people of other races looking at white people. It takes a little more thinking, a little more empathy. You have to actually try to look past the skin color. Because at first, you see a few differences. Just the insignificant top little differences. Yeah, this guy doesn't look like me. It's a different skin color. And you think it's, you know, this guy's nothing like me. He doesn't look like me. But it's not true. You know, and that's the purpose of this training, I think, is for us just to get past that subconscious. Maybe not all people have this. I think with time and experience and training, you can get past that. When you look at somebody of a different race, of a different religion, you can get past that initial, it's not even a judgment, but it's like a subconscious thing where you don't connect instantly because you just see the skin. You see the difference first. But then if you just stop and think, this person, we're all human beings, man. You know, we all acted the same way as kids, black, white, Chinese. You know, we all have that human nature inside of us. I think some of us have a harder time getting past that initial judgment, that's that skin color or whatever. Have a harder time. Some of us can't get past it at all, or refuse to get past it, or are scared to get past it. And that's where this racism training, this stuff comes in very important. Because then you can look, these police can pull over a car of white people or black kids and see the same thing and have the same relationships, the same empathy, instead of immediately just seeing the skin color and thinking, these kids are nothing like me. You know, this training is very important, and it's not something that's, you know, I think it's a very easy thing to learn to get past. It's an initial snap judgment, a fear of somebody that doesn't look like you. And with training, with classes, you can get past this and see that we're all human. We're all, you know, when you go out into space and you look at the Earth, we were all born here, you know, we're all human. Same God, same everything. Same, we live, we die, we work, we love, we're all the same. And it's just a matter of getting past that initial snap judgment, that little subconscious part of us that fears people that don't look like us. All right, I hope it made some sense. I'll talk to you guys later.